A group of doctors refused to follow the Hippocratic oath and decided to perform horrifying experiments on their patients. Are you ready? Let's begin. Students at a medical university are studying the structure of the human body. Among them is a very talented girl named Paula Henning. She won a competition and earned the right to attend the scientific anatomy course of the brilliant Professor Grombeck in Heidelberg. Paula is overjoyed because this is an incredible opportunity for a successful career. The girl visits her elderly, sick grandfather. He also dedicated his entire life to medicine and is proud of his intelligent granddaughter. Paula then visits her father. He is also a doctor, but unlike the grandfather, he does not want his daughter studying so far away from home, and their conversation ends in an argument. Paula says goodbye to her mother and leaves. Meanwhile, a man regains consciousness on an autopsy table. He obviously has no idea what happened to him. Doctors wearing masks lean over him and study his internal organs with fascination. It seems this unfortunate man is literally about to be dissected alive. Paula travels to Heidelberg and meets a girl named Gretchen on the train. They will study together under Professor Grombeck. Paula goes to buy coffee, and on the way back someone calls for a doctor. She finds an unconscious young man lying on the floor. The protagonist performs CPR, and the unfortunate man regains consciousness. Paula has saved his life. They introduce themselves to each other, and the young man reveals his name is David and that he suffers from heart failure. He invites Paula and Gretchen to a local bar later that evening. The girls arrive at the medical university campus and immediately rush to their first lecture. They move into a large dormitory room and visit the anatomy laboratory. This is the place where pathologists work, and it is extremely creepy. One of the students, Gabby, notices that a man lying on one of the operating tables moved his leg. The girls laugh nervously because that's impossible. The man moves his leg again. The lights flicker in the room. Gretchen is convinced it's just some stupid prank and pulls the sheet off the corpse. The unfortunate guy has no head. There's no way he could still be alive. Paula, the bravest among them, cautiously approaches. Maybe it's just a mannequin. Unfortunately not. It seems there's some kind of electrical impulse generator inside the body that makes it move. Paula follows the wires and smiles. It really is just a prank. In the storage room, the girl finds a group of cheerful students and scolds them for their stupid joke. That evening, all the students hang out at the bar and talk about the legendary Professor Grombeck. Paula meets a boy named Casper, and they immediately like each other. David also arrives at the bar. He wants to approach Paula and Gretchen, but first goes to the restroom. Someone sprays something in his face and injects him with a needle. It seems David has been kidnapped. Strangely, nobody notices. David wakes up on an operating table and sees people wearing surgical masks. He grabs a scalpel and hides it behind his back. When the doctors approach him, the boy attacks one of them, jumps off the table, and desperately screams for help. Unfortunately, David is immediately knocked unconscious again. The doctors realize his heart cannot handle the stress and declare that they no longer need him. Paula attends Professor Grombeck's lecture. The doctor shows the students his enormous anatomical collection, which is both beautiful and unbelievably disturbing. Paula lives the normal life of a student: lectures, seminars, meetings with friends, and dates with Casper. But everything changes when she sees David's corpse on the autopsy table. Paula and Gretchen sit on the bathroom floor for a long time, trying to recover from the shock. When they return to class, Professor Grombeck informs them that David died from a heart aneurysm. The doctor hands Paula a scalpel. The girl is completely devastated. The problem is that David's blood is unbelievably thick, which should not be possible. Paula approaches Professor Grombeck and tells him about her suspicions, but the doctor asks her to forget the whole thing. The protagonist asks a close friend and colleague for advice. Human blood cannot resemble rubber. Her friend agrees to help her, but first she must obtain a tissue sample from David's body. Casper arrives at Paula's workplace. The girl shows him David's blood under a microscope and then sneaks into the pathology department. Among countless corpses, she finds David. Strangely, for some reason he doesn't have a tag attached to him. Paula takes a tissue sample and notices 3 marks on his leg. One of the department workers catches her. The protagonist asks who brought David's body there, but the man claims the information is confidential. After the student leaves, the worker reports everything to the department head, who orders David's body to be cremated. The next day, Paula goes to the lake with her friends and Gretchen tells Paula she has started dating a boy named Hein. He isn't very smart, but he's handsome and athletic. Paula learns from Casper that the 3 A's refer to the Anti-Hippocratic Society. It is a secret organization that seeks scientific breakthroughs while completely ignoring moral and ethical boundaries. Paula shares this discovery with Gretchen. Normal doctors take the Hippocratic Oath and promise to save human lives. Anti-Hippocratics, on the other hand, place no value on human life, so their illegal medical experiments usually end horribly. Paula believed the society had ceased to exist long ago, but apparently that is not the case. The protagonist discovers that David had been injected with a forbidden drug called Promadol. That is what made his blood so thick. Paula rushes to Gretchen to share the information and learns that her friend already has a new boyfriend. Now she's dating Phil instead of Hein. Paula hurries to the laboratory, finds Professor Grombeck, and tells him about David and the Promadol. Once again, the doctor changes the subject. Casper accidentally cuts his finger, and Paula bandages the wound. The boy promises to tell her everything he knows about the anti-Hippocratics that evening. Later that night, the girl discovers a huge red stain on her bed and a strange candle underneath it. It appears to be a warning from the anti-Hippocratics to stay out of their business. Paula realizes someone else is in her room. She attacks the intruder and throws him to the floor. It turns out to be Hein, Gretchen's ex-boyfriend. He's searching for his unfaithful lover. Paula tries to comfort the unfortunate Hein when Casper suddenly enters the room. He misunderstands the situation and angrily storms out. Hein soon leaves as well. Paula notices a strange cut on his chest. Meanwhile, Gretchen is on a date with Phil at an elegant restaurant. The couple leaves without paying and decides to search for some privacy in the anatomy department. There, Gretchen performs a wild dance on the table, and soon Phil joins her. Unfortunately, their plans fail because the boy becomes too nervous. Gretchen is persistent, however, so she gives him a second chance. Sadly, their fun doesn't last long. Hein finds them, kills Phil, and injects Gretchen with Promadol. It turns out the handsome athlete is a member of the Anti-Hippocratic Society. Gretchen tries to escape, but the drug quickly takes effect, and she collapses to the floor. The girl crawls toward the door, growing weaker with every second. She wakes up on an operating table. Hein stands beside her and announces that from now on she belongs only to him. Afterward, Hein hides Phil's body in the morgue and makes sure it cannot be identified, then hides inside a locker from the department staff. Beside him is a bag containing Phil's head. A new day begins. Paula notices that neither Gretchen nor Phil are present at the lecture. She steals a notebook containing records of bodies delivered to the lab and discovers that Hein brought David's body there. Hein approaches the protagonist and shows her someone's finger. It appears to belong to Gretchen. The man declares that Paula should forget everything she has learned, or the same fate awaits her. Paula is horrified. She goes to the police, but nobody believes her. She has no proof. Paula searches everywhere for Gretchen. She isn't in the dormitory, so the girl heads to the anatomy department. Hein is there too. He tells her that Gretchen is lying on one of the autopsy tables. The protagonist tries to escape from the university. Hein chases her, and the girl hides in the morgue. Eventually, she manages to escape through another exit. Soon, she discovers the secret laboratory of the Anti-Hippocratic Society, where she meets Professor Grombeck. The doctor confesses to his student that he is also a member of the society. Worse still, he reveals a terrible secret to Paula. Her grandfather belonged to them as well. Paula returns home to speak with her grandfather, but he is already dead. Her father admits that he always knew the grandfather's secret, and that is why he hated him. The leaders of the Anti-Hippocratic Society are furious with Hein's reckless behavior. Because of the stupid boy, they could all be exposed. Taking a huge risk, Grombeck decides he wants to surrender to the police. The professor calls Paula, but she does not answer. Hein sneaks up behind him and kills him. Paula is devastated. She never imagined her grandfather could have been so cruel. The girl returns to the university. In tears, she approaches Casper and seeks comfort in his arms. Afterward, Paula goes to the bathroom and finds Promadol there. She searches through Casper's papers and finds more evidence that he is also a member of the Anti-Hippocratic Society. Paula knocks her lover unconscious with a thick book and runs away. After lunch, she goes to the professor's office. Unfortunately, instead of the doctor, she finds Gretchen's corpse. Paula panics, smashes everything around her, and collapses to the floor. Hein enters the classroom. He proudly boasts that Gretchen is his greatest creation. Hein injects Paula with Promadol, and she loses consciousness. The protagonist wakes up on an operating table. Her hands are tied. Casper approaches her holding a scalpel. He unties his girlfriend and explains that he only studies the history of the Anti-Hippocratic Society, but has never participated in illegal medical experiments. Following Paula's instructions, Casper injects her with the antidote to neutralize the effects of Promadol. Suddenly, Hein and his assistant appear and grab Casper. They intend to dissect him, but thanks to the antidote, Paula can already move. She injects Hein's assistant with Promadol and escapes from the laboratory. The man tries to inject himself with the antidote, but it is already too late. Hein chases after Paula. The girl is forced into a desperate fight for survival. With great difficulty, she finally manages to defeat her enemy. Paula visits Casper in the hospital. Fortunately, the Anti-Hippocratics didn't have time to cut anything off him. That means their private life should be perfectly fine. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more.